1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The foreign minister has urged the international community to hold India responsible for endangering the peace in the region. The President has called for increased trade, investment, defence and cultural cooperation with all the friendly countries. The Interior Minister has expressed the hope that the opposition parties' protests outside the Election Commission in Islamabad will remain peaceful. The Information Minister says the government did not create any hurdles in the way of the protest by the PDM in Islamabad today. Qatar has urged the Gulf Arab states to engage in diplomacy with Iran to resolve all outstanding issues through negotiations. Winter sports season kicked off at picturesque Naltar Valley today. And now the news in detail. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has urged the international community to hold India responsible for endangering peace in the region. In a statement today, he said the world has realized that a fascist Hindutva regime is governing India, which it earlier considered a secular state. The minister said we presented before the world irrefutable evidence of India's sponsoring of terrorism inside Pakistan through a dossier on November 14th last year. He said the European Union Disinfo Lab's recent report has confirmed our reservations. He said Arnab Goswami's recently leaked chat has also exposed the Pulwama drama. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said Pakistan wants peace in the region, including Afghanistan. He said we want that the intra-Afghan dialogue reaches its logical conclusion with success. The President, Dr. Arif Alvi, says Pakistan wants to further enhance bilateral trade, investment, defence and cultural ties with all the friendly countries. He was talking to the resident ambassadors designate of Korea, Nepal, Belarus and non-resident ambassadors designate of Ireland, Kosovo, Mali and Sierra Leone, who separately called on him in Islamabad today. The President said Pakistan's ranking in the Ease of Doing Business Index has improved tremendously and the foreign investors need to take advantage of investment-friendly environment of the country. He said Pakistan is taking all possible measures to promote relations with the African countries under its Engage Africa policy. Dr. Arif Alvi said Pakistan is home to some of the world's most revered Buddhist sites and expressed the hope that tourists from friendly countries would increasingly visit these sites. The President also briefed the envoys about the atrocities and gross human rights violations being committed by India against the innocent people of the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. He urged the international community to play its rightful role to stop India from committing such blatant violations of international law. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All-Parties Hurriyat Conference has reiterated its call for shutdown on Thursday to mark the 31st anniversary of Gau Kadal massacre. In a statement issued in Srinagar, the All-Parties Hurriyat Conference spokesman said brutal Indian forces committed the worst type of state terrorism by martyring over 50 innocent Kashmiris on 21st of January 1990 in Srinagar. He said Gau Kadal and other such massacres reminded the notorious Jallianwala carnage perpetrated by the then British government in India. The Interior Minister Sheikh Rashid Ahmed has expressed the hope that the opposition parties' protest inside the Election Commission in Islamabad will remain peaceful. Speaking during a visit to the control room established at the Interior Ministry to monitor the law and order situation in Islamabad, he said the opposition parties are allowed to hold a peaceful protest. The Interior Minister said it is for the first time that such a demonstration has been allowed on the Constitution Avenue. Sheikh Rashid Ahmed also visited the Election Commission of Pakistan and reviewed the security arrangements there. The Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Shibli Faraz, says the government did not create any hurdles in the way of protest by the Pakistan Democratic Movement in Islamabad today. In a tweet, he said the smooth flow of traffic on the roads of Islamabad is a proof of Imran Khan's pro-democratic personality. The minister said the nation has not forgotten when the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz government had subjected the peaceful Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf protesters to violence. He urged the nation can also never forget the Model Town tragedy. This is Radio Pakistan. The ambassador of China to Pakistan, Nonrong, says projects under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor are heading in the right direction and would continue to progress on expedited pace. Talking to the Secretary Planning and Development Mathur Niaz Rana in Islamabad today, the envoy said CPAC is the flagship project that manifests the long-standing friendship between China and Pakistan. He said CPAC is the product of vision of the two brotherly countries that goes beyond traditional business dealings, reflecting decades-old strong bonds of bilateral cooperation and shared goals with a win-win situation for all. During the meeting, matters relating to bilateral relations, projects under CPAC, and progress of upcoming 10th Joint Coordination Committee on CPAC came under discussion. The Lahore-Matiari transmission line, which is Pakistan's first and mega high-voltage direct current project, will be ready by April this year, according to official sources. The project, launched under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, would cost $1.68 billion, and it would be the first HVDC project in the country and the second in the entire world. The project would help evacuate 4,000 megawatt power from plants in south to urban load centers in the Punjab. Work on the project was launched in December 2018 across Sindh and the Punjab. Qatar has urged all the Gulf Arab states to engage in diplomacy with Iran to resolve all outstanding issues through negotiations. In a statement, the Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman As-Sani said Doha is hopeful that new talks between Tehran and Gulf Arab states will take place. He said Qatar is ready to facilitate talks between the United States and Iran. He further said his government is supporting the ongoing discussions between Iran and South Korea to secure the release of an oil tanker seized by the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps earlier this month. Iran has signed 3 agreements with Turkey to expand bilateral rail cooperation. According to the Railways of the Islamic Republic of Iran, these agreements will also improve the connection of Turkey's routes to Afghanistan and Pakistan. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has urged Israel to halt and reverse its decision to build 800 new homes in the occupied West Bank. In a statement, he said the decision is a major obstacle to the achievement of the two-state solution and a just, lasting and comprehensive peace in the Middle East. And now, sports. The winter sports season kicked off at the picturesque valley of Nalthar today with enthusiastic skiers from all over Pakistan arriving at the Pakistan Air Force Ski Resort Nalthar. According to the spokesperson of the Pakistan Air Force, teams of PAF, Pakistan Army, Gilgit-Baltistan Scouts, Swat, Punjab, Balochistan, Sindh, Islamabad, Azad Jammu and Kashmir, Higher Education Commission, Civil Aviation Authority and Alpine Club are participating in various events like alpine skiing, snowboarding, ice hockey and ice skating. Around 100 national skiers from all over the country are participating in the much-awaited winter sports, which are conducted each year in the magnificent Nalthar Ski Resort under the auspices of the Pakistan Air Force and Winter Sports Federation of Pakistan. PAF skiers proved their dominance on the opening day as they clinched 5 medals in the 15th Shah Khan Alpine Ski Cup being held in the freezing temperatures. And finally, the weather. Fog is likely to persist in the plain areas of the Punjab and Upper Sindh. Very cold weather is expected in Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan, Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and North Balochistan, while cold and dry conditions are likely to prevail in other parts of the country during the next 24 hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, And you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.